In 1979, the face of sci-fi horror changed forever with Ridley Scott's Alien. Not only did the director create one of the most badass heroines in film history with Ellen Ripley, but the xenomorph became among the most terrifying movie monsters. For almost half a century, the franchise has continued on with several sequels, some good and some bad, but now begins a new chapter with the first ever Alien TV series, Alien Earth. Released on FX and Hulu, the show is being run by Noah Hawley of Fargo fame. The chilling xenomorphs are front and center again, but so is a whole new cast of characters, led by Chandler and Timothy Olyphant. Here's everything that happens in the premiere episode of Alien Earth, Neverland.
Alien Earth is set in the year 2120. The episode starts with an explanation of this world with the words, "In the future, the race for immortality will come in 3 guises. Those are cyborgs, synths, and hybrids. Which technology prevails will determine what corporation rules the universe." Right away, we're dropped into the setting without a single scene. The episode begins on the USS Maginot, owned by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, in the year 2120. Just like the first scene of Alien, we see a ship coming to life and its crew coming out of stasis for a 65-year-long mission. They speak about the 4 megacorporations that run the entire globe. We already know about Weyland-Yutani, which controls North and South America. They also own Mars and Saturn. Dynamic runs the moon. The mission for Maginot is to bring back alien specimens, some of which are shown to be facehuggers. A lot of good people have died to get them, but Weyland-Yutani is now set to be in possession of the creepy crawlers that have been marked for delivery. What could possibly go wrong? As the crew goes back to a long cryo-sleep after their meal, we see brief flashes of the horror they will go through.
Alien Earth Episode 1 introduces us to Wendy. We next move to Prodigy's Neverland, Research Island on Earth. There, a synth named Kirsh spends time with a sick girl named Marcy, who's connected to an IV drip. This synth and the young human appear to be friends, but the girl then leaves to have some sort of medical procedure done. Lying on a table is the body of a young woman. What happens next becomes clear as the girl talks to Dame Sylvia. Her consciousness is about to be transferred into the adult synthetic body, making her a hybrid. An excited boy Kavalier talks to Marcy about how she will be the very first of her kind. On the ceiling, he plays the animated version of Peter Pan for her to watch as she goes under for the procedure. Looking at her new body, Marcy utters her final words in her old life, that she looks like a Wendy. The new Wendy is then shown sitting alone on the side of a cliff, watching the sea in peace, when Dame Sylvia calls for her. Wendy drops, falling 100 feet yet landing softly, before running at super speed along the beach. Not only does one's consciousness transform, but their new synth frame is physically capable beyond the limits of humanity. In a private meeting, Wendy speaks to Dame and Kirsh about her weird new body. She's technically a child in an adult form, so the two discuss potentially having her go through artificial puberty for the sake of her mind. Wendy then learns that there will soon be other hybrids just like her. It will be up to her to be a big sister to these scared, sick kids as they get ready for their transition. Boy Kavalier watches how well Wendy interacts with the children. She tells them how adult minds can't handle the synth process yet, so only kids can do it. Wendy is present as each little boy and girl goes to sleep and wakes up in their new hybrid body, turning this group into a futuristic version of the Lost Boys. Meanwhile, back in space, all hell has broken out on the Maginot. Captain Morrow is programming the ship to crash into Earth as a crew member begs to be let in so she can escape something that's coming. Morrow, who is a cyborg, welds himself inside the control room so no one can join him. In a flash of light, a xenomorph strikes, killing the pleading crew member. The alien starts to smash its way inside the room, but Morrows escapes into a small, much more secure chamber underneath just in time. Seconds later, the ship smashes into our planet. Wendy is determined to save her brother in Alien Earth, Episode 1.
We're next introduced to New Siam, owned by Prodigy, which doesn't look so different from our current world. There are trains nearby and people on boats, with skyscrapers surrounding it all. They even have a baseball team. From Neverland, Wendy is watching her brother, Joe, a Prodigy medic, on security cameras as he walks through the city. Still a kid in her mind, she talks about her sibling to her stuffed animals with pride, while he thinks his sister is dead.
As Joe watches Ice Age, both brother and sister recall watching it together when they were toddlers. Joe, who goes by Hermit, is at work the next day, moments before the Maginot begins its last descent, crashing in a ball of flames in the middle of the city. Hermit and the prodigy soldiers he's with immediately rush to the crash site and encounter mass devastation. They conduct a search and rescue mission that leads them to the ship, where they make their way inside. In the control room, Morrow lets himself out of his little pod and moves through the vessel, where all the humans are dead. He sends a message to Weyland-Yutani asking for reinforcements, but he doesn't know where the cargo is. Wendy watches the aftermath of the crash on TV, where she's able to control security cameras and find her brother moving through the rubble. She insists on a meeting with boy Kavalier, who wants to make the ship his own, where Kirsh reveals that she wants to find her brother. Kavalier is amazed by Wendy's almost human facial reactions, to which she tells him, "I am human." Wanting to see how his super-strong Lost Boys handle the stress, boy Kavalier orders the hybrids to go to the crash site, with Kirsh as their leader. Morrow hides from the search and rescue team, who make their way into the Maginot's lab with still-living specimens. As two of them exit the lab, Morrow is there with a gun pointed at them. He orders the two men to put their weapons down and has them go back into the lab, where they are cuffed to a pipe. Morrow asks where Kavalier is before the cyborg leaves them. In the Maginot's cryo chamber, Hermit finds a corpse with its abdomen burst out. That's never good in this world, especially for tied-up soldiers. One of them, Hoyt, begins to panic when the bug-like creature starts to crawl on his face before it attaches to his neck and sucks out his blood to death. As the Lost Boys ship makes its way to the crash site, Kirsh tells Wendy that humans are food for other animals. They live and then they die. Wendy doesn't want to hear that though, because her brother isn't going to die. She's going to save him. With that, Alien Earth has introduced its new badass heroine.